As your moderator, I welcome you to this panel discussion on the convergence of AI and Web3. My name is Laurenz Sommerlad. I'm a software engineer, information systems student, and part of Europe's leading AI student initiative, TUM AI. I have a deep passion for entrepreneurship, which is why I decided to join the venture department, working on the AI Lab, Germany's first student-led AI incubator. As host and producer, I'm also excited to share our new podcast series featuring successful founders and experts in the realm of AI. Now, at TUM AI, we want to make AI accessible for all. That's why we organize workshops, hackathons, working student positions, research projects, and conferences. Now to our amazing panelists. Big round of applause. Co-founder and Web3 Lead at deltaDAO, championing a decentralized data economy. Contributor to the Gaia-X Web3 ecosystem called Pontus-X. He partnered with industry giants such as Polygon, Ocean Protocol, and many more, onboarding over 100 institutions to Gaia-X. As a developer, he's convinced best code is no code. And as a poet, he dreams that the new data economy is stories written in the currency of bytes. Albert Pecci. Founder and CEO of BitCrunch, a blockchain analytics company that is focusing on the security of digital asset economy. Raised $6.5 million US from prominent Web3 VCs like Coinbase Ventures, Animoca Brands, Chainlink, Polygon, and a few others. TUM master's graduate, ex-Siemens, ex-Volkswagen, listed as top 40 data scientists in India under 40. 3-time TEDx speaker, and over 50K connections on LinkedIn. Vijay Pravin Maharajan. Partner at the Blockchain Founders Capital, early-stage venture capital firm, investing on founders building category-defining Web3 companies. He's deeply passionate about the potential of blockchain technology and has strong connections with the Web3 communities. Organizer of the highly successful Munich Ethereum Hackathon. Board member at PretzelDAO and now celebrating 10 years here in Germany. Sager Bavalia.
Thank you. Coincidentally, today is the day on 23rd September in 2013 I landed to Germany.
Nice. And now last but not least, next to me, co-founder and CEO of Chapter, a tech startup building new business models at the intersection of media and technology. Chapter projects include White Mirror, the production of an AI feature film governed by Web3, and Story, an app for parents and kids creating individualized bedtime stories using AI, with over 10 years in media and management consulting. Philip Nastoli. All right, now please fasten your seatbelts as we dive deep in this mix of AI and Web3. Who wants to start? Who wants to tell a bit about the story and what is currently up on the market?
Can we just quickly appreciate this amazing stage? Like, we want to go deep into tech and talk about, the two buzzwords that you said at the very beginning, but this feels like we were deep in the matrix. I have to say, wow, big round of applause to whoever organized that.
Definitely. I mean, event organization is a really hard job, and kudos to TUM Blockchain Club guys, Eric and Tim. Yeah, let me start then. I think when back in days 1995, when people started talking about internet era, and then I was watching one video today where I think prominent media guys just saying like there is A with circle on it, it's called 8, and they were making fun, right? And fast forward 25, 30 years, I see nowadays when we talk about blockchain, pretty much like 80% of people start laughing because these are crypto bros or cryptocurrencies. So I think blockchain and AI can go hand in hand. If you look at back in days when people were saying internet will be end as in a fax machine. But today you can see that everyone must have online presence on internet, right? Back in days, people were saying high-speed information highways or sort of like information highways. Nowadays, no one talks about highways, right? It's because you cannot disengage yourself from internet. And that's how, if you look at the cherry on top, that's where the AI can fit on top of blockchain. And yeah, that's all I think we have a lot to talk. And just AI is the cherry on top part on blockchain ecosystem.
Vijay, given your work with NFT security and fraud detection, how do you see AI reshaping the dynamics of the NFT security in Web3?
Sure. So I mean, just a little bit of what we do at BitsCrunch. So we crunch each and every bits of data. So that is the reason behind the name BitsCrunch. And we used AI right from the beginning. I mean, not just to use AI for the sake of using it, because that's the talk of the town. And we looked into the malicious activities happening behind every single NFTs or let's call it digital assets, because a lot of people are a little scared or afraid of this term called NFTs. But there are some famous Web2 companies like Adidas, Nike, even Porsche, who has launched NFTs in the form of, let's say, digital collectibles. There are a lot of digital collectibles sold by Reddit, MasterCard, and even Starbucks. They turned their royalty program into NFTs, right? So we looked into the dark side of it. But what I mean by dark side is people started flipping NFTs and made a lot of money out of it by doing wash trades. So we looked into that, and we looked at price estimation of NFTs. Because right now, if anybody closely follow the space, people know it is being pegged to floor price. But in my opinion, floor price is one of the dumbest metric ever. And that is when we came up with the AI-powered pricing for digital assets. And then, I mean, I can keep on talking about how we ended up as a police of blockchain. I mean, whenever I talk to a German, I also say we're in the TUF of NFTs.
Albert, considering the evolving nature of the data economy, and what opportunities and challenges do you see in that space? And maybe quickly elaborate on what do you do at Gaia-X and Pontus-X? What is that?
Yeah, so let's start maybe with what is Gaia-X. So Gaia-X is a European initiative that was founded 3 years ago. It's directly supported by the different countries in Europe, especially Germany and France here. And what they try to do is to create a single European digital market. So they're trying to provide a digital infrastructure so that we can develop all these algorithms and machine learning models that we have nowadays. So when we look into the European landscape, what we find here is many small to medium-sized enterprises, over 24 million of them. They are not in the cloud yet because they don't trust the cloud for various reasons. Sometimes it's reasonable, sometimes it's rather just that they don't have the knowledge and are frightened or scared to actually upload their data somewhere where they don't have full control. So how to provide back control to them? This is the question that Gaia-X asks. And what they did back then is provide a framework and a white paper describing this. So they got all the big enterprises from Europe into this project, including also the hyperscalers from the US. So every relevant company is basically part of this. And now they're thinking about, okay, how to give back control to the data and algorithm provider and also build a unified infrastructure for that. Back then, my company, and basically back then it was my friends and me, we were working in Ocean Protocol, which is a peer-to-peer solution to actually trade and share data and algorithms. And we realized, oh wow, this Web3 vision is exactly what Gaia-X wants, but they don't know that it already exists. So what we did is we created a prototype in a month or so, provided a demonstration to the C-level, and they were like, this can't be, like, it's impossible. We are already researching this for 1+ year, and we have PowerPoint slides. How can you solve this? We showed the open source code, and then they started to believe us. Since then, we are establishing trust inside these enterprises that simply don't know that the solutions already exist. It's that simple. So we do this education work and this translation work of the Web3 terms into Web2 speak. Gaia-X have their own terms, but basically they're talking about a federated catalog, which is a blockchain. They're talking about an audit log, which is an inherent property of blockchains. They talk about, for example, trust framework, which can be realized through SSIs, self-sovereign identity. They talk about how to enable payments and so on through a unified infrastructure, which, again, blockchain already provides all these features. So we did this translation work, and since then we have created a dedicated Gaia-X Web3 ecosystem called Pontus-X. And this is where we actually are trying to, first of all, convince and show the companies that it works already. And then in the next step, so 2024, we want to go into production with that. And this is the great opportunity for Europe, that they can become a role model on how to share data without giving up control over it. This is what Gaia-X provides.
Maybe, Sigurd, do you want to comment on that? Is data privacy really that simple? Or what do you think or perceive to be the challenges at the intersections of AI and Web3?
I mean, data privacy, we are talking about GDPR since a long time, right? So it's nothing new. There are the challenges, of course. If you're a new technological revolution, there's a solution, but you also end up having bunch of or dozens of problems. So data privacy is a big issue. In AI, in blockchain, I mean, you can look at the blockchain's open ledger. Basically, anyone can go on Etherscan or any blockchain and you can see the data. So do you want to put your identity? Or if I ask myself question, would I want to put my identity on blockchain? The answer would be no. Even though I'm running my fund in blockchain, next 20, 30 years, I'm going to devote my time and energy and capital for this space, but let's be honest about, or like intellectual honest, that this is true. No. So basically, there's the data. You put data on blockchain. That's open, transparent, so anyone can access it. So now the question comes that, and that's what we are betting on, like how next generation of startup founders or entrepreneurs will solve and come up with the solution. I have no doubt that there will be the solution where it comes to data privacy. But yeah, that's a challenge. And also one last point from my side is compliance. So when you have the libertarian point of view or you go against the regime, I think that's not the right attitude when you are working with the technological innovation. So I think if you look at the Web 1 and Web 2, where founders have successfully managed to build multi-billion-dollar business by staying in regulatory framework, and also on top of that, check marking all the requirements and having a successful startup, they are still serving to the customers. So yeah, that we can also achieve in our industry when it comes to AI or Web3.
Can I chip in here? Like the privacy issues that you just talked about, I think there are already like technological solutions or approaches, better said, and that solve part of the problem. One of them is called computer data. So what happens there is you have the data, for example, on your phone, and what you would do nowadays if you want to monetize and utilize this data, you would actually send it to a platform and then you would sell it, but you lose control over your data because there is a copy. So what you do instead is you send the algorithm to my phone, you execute it there, and you only get back the result. That's how you can do federated learning across devices and still have train your algorithm without giving up any privacy, though there is a limitation to the statement because you must check the algorithm in the first place.
Maybe now to you, Philip. In terms of content creation, what are advantages of decentralization and what challenges do we still need to overcome?
Tough question. So generally speaking, I think everybody in this room, particularly on this panel, is driven by the idea of decentralization. So we are questioning very hierarchical governance structures when it comes to executing against a certain idea. And that idea can be a startup idea, a company, but it can also be content. And I mean, we have been, growing up in this era of social media where everybody can become a creator, everybody can become a star, right? The only thing that you need is probably the newest iPhone, access to Instagram, holding your face into that camera and being very authentic, and maybe you'll become a star. When it comes to traditional media, there still is something that I like to call a gatekeeper in the play, right? So whenever you want, for example, to publish a book, there's a publishing house saying, okay, I will publish your book, or maybe they won't. In film, there's people like, let's be very straight here, maybe Harvey Weinstein saying, okay, you'll become a star, and you won't. So there's, this very, strong power that is still in there when it comes to actually bringing your great idea, which can be your great content or your great story, to life. Now, the idea of Web3 then obviously becomes very tangible and very approachable. So not only from a financial services perspective, but also from a, hey, how do I actually bring my great idea to life, which can be a story. Now, when you look at film, I don't know whether anybody of you has been on a film set ever before. I had the opportunity to be at some of them, or TV productions and the likes, and you will realize very, very quickly that these organizations are extremely hierarchical. There's one director, and he or she is in charge of hundreds of people who are just wavering around and doing their stuff. And we were like, when we started exploring in that very exercise, like, you know what, we can decentralize that. Let's give it a go. There is a way more equalitarian way to actually bringing these great ideas to life. And this is exactly how the idea of White Mirror, our AI feature film that we're currently producing, using governance principles or promises of Web3 in order to make that happen, came to life. I have to tell you though, along this process, and we've been in this process for a couple of months now, there is some value to centralization, particularly when it comes to decision making. And that is something that we are currently figuring out in terms of what is the right governance for the value system that we want to promote, which is decentralization, and giving every one of you access to this table without this gatekeeper saying, you'll become a star and you won't. But still having the efficiency of, yeah, that story makes sense, and it's not completely random because everybody's just chipping in random side characters that just don't make sense. So that's a really fun exercise.
Thank you so much. Maybe to you, Vijay, are there other ethical considerations when it comes to decentralization in AI?
Yeah, I mean, the primary reason why we as a team got into this blockchain space is because of back and forth hurdles with data. Right. I mean, we live in Germany, and I've worked for companies like Volkswagen and Siemens. They're getting data, even from the department that is sitting right next to you, is tough. You need to sign a lot of papers. You need to get a lot of acceptance from department heads in order to process other data. Right. And that is when we realized we should look into blockchain, which is open source. I mean, there are public blockchains like Ethereum, Polygon, Solana, and so many other blockchains. And only thing that you have to do is you need to understand what it is, and each and every terminologies were different back then. So getting into blockchain for us was relatively easier than getting into another data related business, especially in a country like Germany, which is very stringent when it comes to data privacy issues. So that is good from one perspective. But if you look at innovation, like Sagar mentioned earlier, technology has been progressing at a rapid pace since ages. When I landed in 2013 in Munich, I used to do a Skype call to my family back home. I'm not sure where Skype is at the moment. I mean, nothing against Microsoft, which acquired Skype, but just saying. So we transform a lot, and sometimes we have to be a little flexible when it comes to hierarchies, right? And I read an article recently where auditing blockchain, especially Bitcoin, has been audited every minute by thousands of people, whereas SEC, one of the famous guys who are trying to do a lot of stunts in crypto right now, they have been audited. There has never been an audit for the last 105 years, right? So sometimes you have to be a little flexible when it comes to accommodating technology. So I see this AI, which has been a revelation for the last few months. If I understand correctly, AI has been with us for the last 10 years. Right? In fact, I took courses on AI when I was at TUM, and it has been talked a lot now because of, everybody knows the reason, ChatGPT. Right? Literally 4/5 of the people who are sitting here might have used ChatGPT at some point. So regulators and the compliance, it has to come hand in hand to support technology innovation. That is when we as a world can progress a lot faster. That's my take.
Now, when we're already talking about entrepreneurship, maybe from an NFT or investment lens, Sagar, what are the ethical considerations here? What are you investing in right now?
What Philip said, decentralization. I think there are sort sort of a group of people who talks about decentralization day and night. And there are sort of people who like to keep things centralized. I think if you can take half of 50% from here and 50% from there, then make a new product that will work more better and serve the purpose rather than just talking about centralization and decentralization. And when it comes to ethics, I think someone need to take accountability. Look at FTX, right? There was no issue, a technological problem. It was governance problem, right? These guys are just invoicing and paying through Slack and WhatsApp messages, right? And so somebody has to take the accountability when you are working on new technological revolution, either it's a blockchain or AI or ML, because, and then how you are handling data. For example, there are a bunch of data sets and you can have like ChatGPT, but what if your multi-language or this model is biased? If you as a developer have tuned the program and then you are just favoring one particular business community or region or like a continent or country, then think about what happened to rest of the world, right? So that's an ethics issue, you have to take care of it, and that's what we also look into it, where if you look at our fund side, we are not invested in decentralized companies, though we are called like Blockchain Founders Capital, but our focus is on how you can build the next generation of startups which solves the problem of people who have nothing to do with technology. And when they're using your product, they don't need to know about blockchain or AI. They don't care. I mean, I don't know how credit card works in backend. I just go to the store and then I just use it, right? Or you use Uber or Twitter, Bumble or Facebook. That people don't care about which technology you're using. So it should be very plain as simple vanilla that when you are offering to the world that people want to use and they want to keep using your product. And on the ethics side, one more thing I would like to say is interoperability. I think majority of the crowd I consider is blockchain crowd. So interoperability means you need to create the, let me give you one simple example. To communicate with different banks in today's world, we have SWIFT, right? And if you look at the Web3 side, we don't have any particular one certified protocols, right, that you are gonna use for multi-chains, because there are like 200 plus chains existing today, but they have really hard time to breach or like communicate with each other. So these are all the different problems which we are facing now. And also on the AI side, I mean, you can think about like even ChatGPT is still in beta test phase, right? It's they're taking data till 2021 and we don't know what's happening behind the door. So we have to, as a user or as an investor or as a founder, make sure you don't forget the ethics and have intellectual honesty, because that's what we build on. That's what, based on that fundamental, our world is existing. When we will become sort of dishonest, or when we will forget about the humanity, because think about when you're doing business can be only done when you have trust. If you don't trust the person, then business doesn't happen. And that's pretty much, I think, very valid in Germany, especially if you look at that, like you are Stammkunde, you know, you won't like to go to one beer garden or one restaurant all the time because you trust that owner, you trust the food. So yeah, that's from my side, yeah.
So now that we have talked so much about ethics and problems, maybe now let's take a look at the future. And I want to hear something from everyone. So considering the current trajectory, what actionable steps or innovations do you think are crucial for maximizing the benefits of Web3 and AI in the near future?
I'll just start then. So when we look into, again, the enterprise field where we are working around right now, is that AI companies, they have two kinds of problems. This is like specific business problems that they need to solve, and then general problems that every AI company needs to solve. One of these general problems is that every AI company needs data. And they actually need to be able to pay for that, and they need to update data, so it's not just that they need it once and then it's over. And they also need to know where this data is from. They need the consent of this data and so on. So there are many things that every company replicates. And there's a lot of resource that we waste on this: talent, money, time, and so on and so forth. So a unified infrastructure is actually what we could provide instead to solve these issues. Then they can focus on the specific problems that they have and don't have to take care of this anymore. So this, yeah.
And particularly for founders who are trying to build in this space or who are building in this space, you don't have actually have to force fit blockchain or AI into the business. Like what others said in the panel, you should think about solving a problem ultimately. So think of it like how Google's and Facebook's started back then, right? It took more than 2 decades, 1 or 2 decades for Google or Apple's or Facebook's of the world to stamp its authority. Right? You have to think it in the long run. So you don't have to force fit a technology that is evolving. It is there, it will be there, it is not going to run away anywhere. And all you have to do is focus on a simple problem, try with a simple MVP, try doing a bigger product, and then reach out to early customers, and then slowly start building and expanding from there. That would be the best option if you want to scale in a longer run. I mean, look at companies in Germany, SAP, or be it Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, or BMW, right? I mean, those are 100-year-old companies who have constantly innovated. They didn't right away start with BMW X7 or Audi A8, right? They started simple, started innovating, and then added a lot of technology to it. And now I'm sure a lot of cars use AI already in it. So that is how you should proceed.
So very quickly, 2 cents on future of AI and Web3. I think everything will be running on AI and blockchain in next 10 to 20 years. So of course, don't take it as a financial advice, do your own research. This is my pure opinion. But what I see now is that majority of the firm will move to blockchain because tokenization is a huge, and you will not even realize that with the speed it will come and it will start tokenizing everything. Think about, you have to buy the bonds and it takes 3 days for the bankers to settle. It can settle within a seconds. And every banks, they are behind the door testing the tokenization. It could be the bonds, it could be the shares, it could be your arts, or it could be your expensive real estate or jewelry or paintings. Everything will be tokenized in 10 to 20 years. Things takes time more than you think like it will happen in 2 years. No, it takes time. So you have to give the time. And then on top of that, AI will be running everywhere. Because look at the stock market trading, $100 trillion market cap, right? And there's algo trades. There's like, I think you should watch the Wall Street movie if you haven't watched. That data is beeping. That's all running on ML, right, in backend. And think about when you put AI there, then you remove the human emotion, and majority of the time traders are losing money because of the emotional driven decisions, right? So AI is technology good at one thing, and humans are good at other things. And when you have the combination, then you can have the, as I said earlier, cherry on top. So that's my 2 cents on next 10, 20 years, that everything will be run on blockchain and AI. Yeah.
I agree on that. So I've been very focused on the Web3 side of things for a couple of years now. And you know, I followed the hype, I fell with the hype, I've been there, hurt my fingers, like, you know, things you got to do when you're actively working in that space. And the one key thing when I'm trying to boil everything down in terms of Web3, what I've learned is that Web3 does not necessarily answer the what, but the how. It's a governance model that works for people coming together and aligning them towards the common goal. It does not necessarily need to be the use case directly, but you need to find, and I agree with everyone in this very panel, you need to find problems worth solving. You need to focus on that specific niche, and then, you know, evolve from there once you have found your target segment. Now, AI is a different technology, different breed, and also we are at a very different stage when it comes to the hype cycle that we always see, right? Right now we're at peak hype of AI, and I am like a strong advocate of that very hype, let's be clear, because everything that we're doing within Chapter is like, we do everything with AI at this very point. Internal processes, content generation, building startups, like the entire thing is basically codified at this very point. So I'm a strong advocate of this. However, fully aware that we're also at this very peak hype, and there will be consolidation in figuring out, okay, what this technology is actually capable of and what it's not capable of. And now, final statement, because I know you want to wrap this up, that's completely fine. The cool thing about that is AI is extremely easy to, or you can use AI technology to answer the what, the question that we've been looking for in the Web3 space for quite some time, because you just need to give ChatGPT to your mother, who has never used a computer before. Let her type in there, and she will be wowed. Try to do the very same thing with blockchain. It will be a tough sell. But if you start to combine these two like fundamental technologies, and that's exactly where I believe to what Sagar just said, is like one answers the how, it gives the governance, it gives creator attribution, okay, give me something back if I train the model with my data. It gives accountability, responsibility, like the entire governance framework for something that AI desperately needs, and gives to the blockchain, Web3 side of things, the use case that it was thriving for or looking for many, many years. So I'm super excited that that intersection will be the future in terms of startups building, so yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm extremely convinced that the future is very bright at this intersection, and I hope the audience also liked it. I have to share my deep gratitude to you guys. Thanks for joining. Thanks for Hamza, our president at TUM AI, and Thomas, just as all the rest of the TUM Blockchain Club, for bringing together this amazing panel, for organizing these 2 days full of learning and networking. And maybe on a last note, TUM AI's application phase is open, so if you're a student and interested in joining, apply now. And to everyone else, we have an AI summit happening on the 20th and 21st of October. Sign up now. Thank you.
And big round of applause for Laurenz for moderating the panel.
We actually have a little bit of time for a Q&A, so if you want to take like 1 or 2 questions now.
Perfect. Maybe stand up.
Okay. Who has the golden question?
Oh, okay.
Hello. Questions? Arms? Ah, you have one. Good stuff. Get it going.
Yeah, guys, so great panel, first of all. I really liked it, and it was really interesting to find out a little bit more about the intersection of AI and Web3. But the question I have is, well, you know, AI and Web3, I think this intersection is sort of bi-directional, and I believe there's potential for AI to influence the development of Web3 and vice versa. And I would just like to know if you have also a take on that, how those two influence each other in terms of, well, their own development.
Yeah, I will take this if you don't mind. So if you look at the content creator economy, that's $1 trillion economy. And if you are a content creator, if you look at the Web 2 side, where you have to, there's no connection between fans and artists, because majority of the labels or YouTube owns your all data of your, either way, if you're artist, then your fans, and your fans are just disengaged from their favorite artist or favorite singer, whoever is that, right? If you look at now, let's talk about Web3, right? So you can use the blockchain to remove all the intermediary. That's what the fundamental basis of blockchain technology, to remove all the intermediary. So let's build something for creator economy on top of blockchain, then you remove this all middle layer guys, and then now that content creator wants to create arts, music, or some regenerative images or whatever. So there comes the AI. AI will help with faster speed, with qualitative contents, with less efforts, right? And then these creators will put it on blockchain, and then again comes the blockchain, which will directly, this content creator or artist will able to monetize to their fans. So you think about this one music album or video, which is in tokenization, and your fans can even buy your art as a future upside potential or whatever, like being a part of their successful journey. Think about if you are, I mean, The Weeknd or Justin Bieber or any XYZ artist, and if you would have buy their early days of small fraction of that music. Think about the upside potential, and then Justin Bieber or these XYZ guys, I'm not a fan of Justin Bieber, by the way, just comes in my mind, that even he or she knows that you are the early investor into their arts. You're not buying to make money there, but you are emotionally involved with that music or that artist that you like or you adore their work, and that's how you can become part of their successful journey. And then now let's think about centralization, right? So if you are an artist, you are putting your work on centralized platforms, then again you have to deal with this owner of centralized platforms. Look at Facebook, Twitter, whatever, or YouTube. If YouTube don't like you, they can block you tomorrow. So think about that artists can put their work on decentralized platform, right? And then they can directly sell it without any kind of hurdles, right? They can sleep peacefully because they have no fear that tomorrow YouTube guys don't like me, then they're gonna block me. And again comes the AI. How AI comes there? Think about revenue potential. There are like so many. If you go to Amazon, one time you look for some stuff, they keep sending you stuff, right? That's algo. So now you put that algo in that marketplace where your fans start looking after your arts and all, and then fans will get a better price. On top of that, that artists can make the better revenue. That's the AI part. And now if you look at the governance model, let's come back to the Web3 part where you don't need this decentralization goes into the one person's hand, but think about your DAOs, right? So you can always prioritize the task. You can always take care of all the proposals you are going through. That's a community-driven water, right? And then you can sell it or you can operate on that framework. So I think AI and Web3 goes hand in hand. And also I just give the example of stock market trading. There basically everything will be running on blockchain as a tokenization. And then backend, the trading part will be on will be using AI in the backend because then it gives you more benefits for the traders. And that's how AI can evolve. And there will be, I'm sure, like a different parts. I mean, best example is also BitsCrunch. But over the time, I think we will go to different sectors and how technological. It's all about the person who is building the product because human has created the AI and human has created the whole Web2 companies. So I'm sure there will be more market will be expanding to different kind of business plans.
Then big applause again for our panelists. Actually, our final panel today.
Thank you.